I said I wanted to try smocking on an actual garment soon, and now is not the time. I am still intimidated by the potential math. But we're gonna try smocking on a pillow, and that's like almost as good, right? I love this room so much. I keep wanting to come in here in the middle of the day to read, not because I'm reading a particularly good book right now, unfortunately, but because I just want to sit in this comfy chair with the cool lighting. But as we left it, there are still a couple of things to do in this room before visitors arrive in like a month. I have plenty of time. Number one, we need real curtains instead of random chunks of fabric clipped up here to fake it. Ooh, look at that in front of the light. I like that. Too bad I need curtains that aren't see-through. I am so mesmerized by these textures and the lighting right now. Oh my god, I gotta keep going. Number two, decorative pillows. Fancy rooms need pillows. That's just like, that's how it is. I don't make the choices. I don't make the rules. I just make the pillows. Now, I've never had a strong desire to create a pillow that's not food-shaped, but alas, neither the avocado pillow nor the lemon slice really goes that well in the elegant bird theme we've gotten here. So I figured in order to make pillow creation more interesting to me, I would take the opportunity to manipulate the crap out of some fabric. Oh lord. I have procured 4 pillow forms. Y'all, these things are expensive. I was able to get one at Remainders, I think that one, but then I got one on sale at Joann and it was way higher priced, even on sale. And then I discovered Wawak? I mean, I didn't discover them, but I discovered that they have cheaper pillow forms. Though granted, they are significantly smaller as well, but I digress. I got 4, so I'm gonna make at least 4 pillows. The fabric manipulations I would like to try are these. Smocking, weaving, cording, pleating, pintucking, maybe? But before we do any of that, there is the matter of the curtains. I bailed on my first attempt after realizing that the massive chunk of fabric I got at Remainders was a more massively weighty chunk of fabric than maybe I had at first observed. Also, I hated the color, and I hate it. So I took my booty over to Remainders again, still didn't find anything that was the navy blue color I want, not sheer, and big enough for curtains. So then I took my booty over to Mood. I so rarely utilize Mood, mostly because I am still a massive cheapskate when it comes to fabric. At least that is until you show me the fancy expensive fabrics. Y'all, the first 2 materials I found that made me go, ooh, that could work, were both like pure silk and astronomically expensive. After getting a bit more realistic and digging around quite a bit, I finally found this stuff. It is the color I want, it's got some texture to it, which is really nice, and it is significantly lighter than the original monstrosity. Hence, like, I can hold it with one arm. Shocking. I couldn't do that with the last bunch of fabric. Also on Wawak, because yes, I was doing a little exploration of their site, I found this stuff, which I thought was just this regular stuff that you put on the back of curtains that you can put like the sharp hook thing through so you can hang up the curtains. I already have some, but I didn't think it was enough, so I went looking for some more. But I happened to read the product description on this, shocking, and it actually pleats your fabric for you. I'm excited to try this. Oh, that's a very tiny pin. So cute. So they said you're just supposed to put seams on either side of the 3 cords that are in here, and then you just pull the cords until the curtain panel is as big as you want your curtain panel to be, and it does nice little pencil pleats for you, theoretically at least. So yeah, that should be fun to try, but making curtains is a little boring. I've already done that in a video. While I get it done, you go chill for a little bit, take a load off. I do have something to tell you. I've been awaiting your arrival to tell you that this video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. If I'm honest, I've never really wanted a recliner in our living room because they all tend to look the same. You know the look that I'm talking about. It's fine. It's cozy, I've slept in one before, it's just not exactly my style. But when FlexiSpot asked if they could send me one of their new Lotus recliners, I took one look at it and said, yes please! I love the super wide seat on this thing. There's so much space and it's all squishy and soft. Not only can it accommodate a crazy number of weird sitting positions, anyone else find it impossible to sit straight for more than 37 seconds, but it also has plenty of room for cuddling with a furry companion, even if said fluffy butt also likes to sit in a massive variety of positions. The gentle rocking motion is super soothing, and the whole chair swivels easily so I can stare out the window, or at the TV, or at my shelf full of random teacups. This corner has become the perfect place to work on my large embroidery pieces because the frame fits right over the end of the seat. And when I need a break from stitching, I can pop that leg rest up and take a little nap. I mean, throw a blanket on there, and this is now the best napping spot in our entire house. Even the puppy agrees. The slate blue color looks great in this room, and the material is not only super easy to clean, but also doesn't attract dog fur like a magnet. We love that. The whole chair was simple to put together with just a few separate pieces and 4 bolts, and it even has hidden storage, like so hidden that I was genuinely surprised when I found it. It comes with a variety of additional features and in several lovely colors and materials, so check out FlexiSpot's Lotus Recliner for yourself by clicking the link below. Use my exclusive code to get $30 off plus free shipping, and let's get comfy, y'all. I feel like the curtains are done now. Shall we check in? We have the drapes. Not that you can see them right now, cause lighting. Goodness, whatever we're going with it. Drapes! I love them. They're exactly what I wanted in this room. And that cord stuff, the backing at the top with the cords that you pull to make them pleats, highly recommend. That made it so easy. It was just delightfully easy to use. Many huzzahs all around. Great stuff. Now it is time for the fun stuff though. Manipulations. I kind of want to snack first. Look at the teeny tiny baby kiwis. They're so cute. I don't know why I said maybe to Pintucks, because that's actually the most solid idea that I have and the one I'm definitely starting with. There's this artist I follow on Instagram, Morgan B. Young, and they make these gorgeous wall art pieces that are completely out of Pintuck canvas, and then like they sew lines across it so you get these wavy look. Words. Really, really gorgeous, very inspirational. I'd love to do a garment in that style eventually. But as with smocking, a pillow is a great in-between step, like swatch, pillow, garment. Only I'm skipping swatch, straight to pillow. Gonna go get a different snack. Hi, I'm back. Sniffs? By the way, some of you may have noticed that lately my footage has been, iffy, worse than usual, frequently messed up. Yeah, this camera that I've been using since 2019, since I started my channel, has started erroring like crazy. It doesn't like to autofocus or auto exposure, auto anything really, and it chooses random times to decide that it simply won't. So I'm working on getting a new one. Thank you for bearing with me in the meantime. Hopefully I'll have a new one by the next video. Theoretically, you're good blueberries. Anyway, I definitely want to do this pillow rectangular. I think I should just go with the squarish one. Should I just use the curtain fabric for this? I'm afraid of using one fabric now and then realizing, you know, tomorrow that it would have been better with a different manipulation. But also, you just gotta make choices. Yeah, I'm gonna do the curtain fabric. Cool. So I don't feel like doing math. So what I'm probably gonna do here is cut something that's the right height, because your height doesn't change, and then just long. I'm just gonna cut it long, because then you basically sew down a bunch of Pintucks. I'm not even gonna measure or anything. I'm just gonna like use the machine markings to try to get them all similar. And you just keep Pintucking until you have the 20 inches that I want, and then I can just cut off the rest. No math today. Said I wasn't gonna measure and get all precise, and then what did I go and immediately do? Measure and get all precise. You kind of have to though, unless you want completely haphazard pleats, which would look cool, but isn't the look I'm going for. I eventually figured out that you need less space between the tucks than the size of the tuck itself. So I did 5/8 of an inch tucks with 1/4 inch space between them, and then hey, guess what? Ironing as you go helps too, who would have thunk it? Once I had a 20-inch panel of pleats sewn closed, which is what I believe makes them tucks, I sewed a line across the top, holding all of them down in the direction I had ironed them. Then I decided to just go for it. We're just gonna go for it. Bloop. Y'all, this is so cool. I love it. Yeah, definitely making me want to try this on an actual garment. The sewing of the pleats or the tucks is kind of, you know, slow and repetitive, but sewing it down into the ripples, very quick, very easy. So I was considering doing the other side of the pillow the same, like also doing the pin tucks on it, but honestly, it would just get kind of crushed because, you know, the back of your pillow is usually on something. So I think I'm just gonna do a plain piece of fabric on the back. I do want to do like piping around the edge. So I'm gonna make my own piping. I have some fabric left over, yes. You can do it just with like a zipper presser foot so that you can get right up close to something, and then like macrame cord. Why did I cut this so big? I don't know. I'm trying to avoid going out to the dining room table, my cutting table, right now because it is covered in the stained glass skirt project supplies, because I have indeed started that, but it's made quite a mess, so now I don't have space to cut anything out unless I clean that mess up. But I can't really clean up that mess until I finish the project, which will be in like 6 to 8 months. Oh well. Macrame cord. Oh god, I don't have very thick stuff. Do I have a thicker cord anywhere? I kind of want a nice thick ass piping. But then I also need 80 frickin' inches of it. That's thicker. Oh, yeah, I have enough of that. Okay, let's do it. Ah, no, no. That much is how much I actually sewed. Ah, I gotta pay attention to my bobbin more. I never leave myself a big enough hole. Why do I do this? Who knew stuffing pillows could be so aggressive? Okay, just gonna stitch that closed. Hi, hello my baby. And then we can move on to pillow number 2, smocking. Oh, squish. Pillow 1 is done. I'll show you close-ups and stuff at the end. I'll show you the whole thing at the end, of course I will. Pillow number 2, I'm gonna do this tube one. I wanna do the lozenge pattern that I tried when I was doing my smocking samples. This is definitely the one that just like tickled my brain the most. I think this would look really cool going all the way around, and then I'll just put like regular caps on the end, I think. There's a very loud helicopter going over, but then all of the windows are open, so I'm not helping myself. Are we on a manhunt? So I'm just gonna like make myself a decent sized, little bit longer, decent sized piece of fabric, and then grit it out and start sewing. And once it's long enough, I'll stop. Oh my god, the helicopter. I think it's never gonna leave. I'm gonna go get a snack and start making a grid. Whatever we were talking about, it's over now. So, not even kidding, the helicopter stayed for the next 4 hours. And it wasn't one helicopter, it was 3. For a solid 30 minutes, one of them just hovered directly over our house. So I don't know, maybe it was a manhunt. The multitudinous helicopters over the LA area is so well known here that it's kinda a joke, only it's less haha funny and more just noisy. But I got the grid drawn on, huzzah! In the end, a white pencil was the only thing that showed up clearly on this fabric, and I also realized that it's way easier to draw an actual grid rather than putting a bunch of dots at the cross points like I did the first time I tried smocking. And since I managed to clear a space on this side of the dining room table, I settled in there to get started on the smocking itself, which is basically just a series of little pickup stitches pulling bits of the material together and then using locking stitches to hold it in place. You know what? I didn't think of it, but if I had left myself enough fabric on the end, which I kind of did on this side, but I didn't on the other side, I could have just finished this pillow off by doing like a little gathering thing on the end. Dang it, now I kind of want to do that. I don't have enough on the other side though. Would it look weird if I just did it on one side? Maybe not. I could call it a choice. Because then I could sew this side on like a flat piece, shove the pillow in, and then just gather this together, and there's the little fringy bits on the end from the selvage. I'd actually really like that. I really do like the floof on one end idea, so once I finished the whole piece of smocking and took about 3.5 minutes to revel in its beauty, I sewed it into a tube and then cut out a circle and sewed that onto one end. Then I could stuff the pillow inside and cinch the other end like a drawstring bag, which I totally forgot to film. Whoops! Pillow 2 is complete, we're on to pillow 3. I really like this one. You can see more later. This one is going to be cording, and I'm gonna do it on the little round one because I think that'll look cool, but cording would normally be done. Is it super dark? Oh God, this camera, y'all. Oh well, cording would normally be done with cord, as the name implies, like macrame cord or something, you know, thick enough to show. You could even do it with really thin cord. I want to go the opposite direction and do something really thick. Let me see if I can fix the camera real fast. Nah, it wants to be dark right now. So while we were doing the guest bedroom baseboards, we had kind of a bigger gap than we had expected. So we got a bunch of this stuff at the hardware store. Basically, it like fills that gap under there. It's just like a foam tube, very much pool noodle, but miniature. You could make a pool noodle for about that big of a doll? Maybe that big of a doll. But I was thinking, what if I used this instead of cord? So you get like a really lumpy lump. Yeah? And then I could even do some really giant piping around the outside, which would be interesting. I don't know, I'm just gonna play around a little this time. And I kind of think this fabric would look cool. Like, I like that it has so much texture and pattern. I am gonna need a backing fabric for underneath, and I don't really want to do 2 layers of this, so let me go see what I got. Well, the camera refused to be anything but dark today, yet onward we go! I once again, can you guess, did not feel like being precise, so I just cut out a rectangle a little taller than the pillow and about twice as long, cause the top piece does shrink as you add the, lumps. Then I found some very ugly fabric. This is not a great color, but that's okay because you won't see it, and it's nice and sturdy for the backing. I started with a single stitch up the center, pushed a piece of the mini pool noodle against it, and then dug around for ages trying to remember if I have a better presser foot for this before sticking with the good old zipper foot, and promptly running out of bobbin thread. Yeah, dang it. From there, I worked outward on each side, starting to curve the pieces away from each other, and yeah, this is fun. I enjoy doing it. It's working. It's kind of cool. I'm not kidding, y'all. This took me like 2 hours to get this piping pinned on here exactly how I want. Yay! Sewing it down also took an insane amount of time, so I ended up hand sewing the back piece on because that actually seemed both faster and easier. That is starting to happen a ridiculous number of times. I probably need to clean out these wheels. All right, this one turned out a little bit wonky, but that's okay. It was just an experiment. It was fun to try. Last one, I think this will be the last one for now, I'm gonna do on this long pillow, and we're gonna do like a weaving sort of thing. Basically, I'm going to make tubes. I suppose you could also just like make bias tape, but I don't really want any seams to be visible. So I'm gonna mostly use this fabric here, but then I might do a little bit in this fabric too to kind of create some contrast. Just gonna make a bunch of tubes and then basically like create my own weaving pattern, possibly over the front and the back on this one. I don't know. This is another one that I've had on my list for a long time as something that I would like to try to do on a garment. So it's nice to finally test a bunch of this stuff instead of like continually putting it down lower on my list because I'm like, I don't know how long that's gonna take. This is like, it is a nice halfway point between like doing just a little small swatch that like that isn't really anything, but then doing a whole garment can be kind of daunting. So this is like a halfway in between. Woo! After immediately getting distracted by plants, I cut the entirety of those two fabrics into strips of varying size. Might have been a better idea to do them all the same size, but only time will tell. Those got sewn into tubes and then turned right side out. Okay, I gotta speed that process up. Hi, bud! By the next morning, I had all of the tubes done and ironed, so I cut out a backing for the front of the pillow and started arranging the strips of fabric and playing around with potential weaving patterns. I really went into this with no plans. Like, I don't even know if I have enough fabric, but at some point it was time to commit and start cutting the strips down to size. I like the pattern though. It's gonna look cool with the brighter fabric poking out between the navy sections. I pinned all of that down and then stitched it around the edges, and now, what about the back? I probably should have just left it plain, but I had enough of the strips left over to make me not want to waste them, although also not enough to actually cover the whole thing. I played around with a few options and finally settled on just the navy fabric in this kind of one-side-only V weaving shape thing. So descriptive. Just had to cobble one strip together out of two pieces to make it work. Look at that butt. I took a quick break to give the puppy his annual booty floof trim, to which he responded with appropriately unnecessary levels of melodrama. And then 'twas time to put it all together.
Oh, this is gonna be thick.
Very simple, despite the thickness and weightiness involved.
She is weighty, y'all.
Sew 3 sides. Trim off the excess, turn it right side out, shove that pillow in there, and then beat it up a little. Okay, let me just sew this closed, and then it's done. Okay, last thing that I want to do here, not another pillow. I'm pretty happy with the 4 pillows. This has been fun, but I want some, like curtain poles? Curtain holdbacks for the sheer curtains in that room. We kind of discovered after I made them and hung them up that they're not as easy to slide open and closed as I had anticipated. I thought I was making that channel huge, and I wasn't. Oh well, but they're mainly always closed, and it would just be nice to be able to draw them open and hold them back with like little, loop things rather than having to like open them at the top. Yeah, yes, we're all on the same page here. So I thought, what if I made like 3 tubes like I just did for each side, and then braided those tubes. And I still have a bit of the curtain fabric left, so I'm gonna use that. I feel like I should make these tubes on the bias because, oh my god, that makes it so much easier to turn things right side out, let me tell you. But I do need to know first how long they need to be. Let me go do a quick measuring, and I'll be back. With that, it really feels like this room is done now. I absolutely still want to make some artwork to put on the walls in here, and I still want to fix the mirror. Like, there's still stuff I want to do in this room. But with the addition of the drapes and the pillows, it feels done. Yeah, you didn't want to hang out with me? He's still a little upset about losing his booty floof. I do feel like these are kind of, eclectic. Is a good word for it, as far as like all the styles and the color and the sizes. But honestly, I don't really care. I'm not much of a decorative pillow person. I prefer pillows that are kind of cute and funny if I'm gonna have any around. So it was really nice to use this as an opportunity to explore fabric manipulations that I've been wanting to do, rather than just like make pillows for the heck of it. You know, this one just cracks me up. The smocking looks so cool, but then like the shape of it is lightly reminiscent of corn on the cob. But then also this is making me think candy pillows. Like this on both sides, bright colors. To go with all of my food themed pillows, candy pillows would be adorable. Yeah, this is definitely making me want to try all of these different manipulation styles on more stuff, on garments. But at the same time, it was nice to try it out on something smaller and more manageable the first time. I learned some things here and there that will definitely assist should I ever take on a much bigger project with these same styles. Anyway, I had fun. Hope you had fun. See you next week. Ah. Now it is, ooh, that was hard.
I grew up in like the suburb of a suburb. We actually lived on a cul-de-sac.
And then I... dying. So I figured in order to make pillow creation more interesting to me, well... no need to be dramatic. But as with... there's a loud plane. Ow! God! That was my ankle funny bone. Whoo! Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh? Why do you hide under the bed? My baby, oh.
Oh, my baby. You're so silly. Hi.